Hey everyone, I'm back for another book review. I just read A Promised Land, and I've never read a political book or memoir. I'm not that political. But I picked this one up because, what can I say, I'm a huge Obama fan. I even used my Obama bookmark. Obama's original plan was to spend like a year or so recounting his presidency in a book that he thought would be around 500 pages. Well, he missed the mark. A lot. Not only did it take him 4 years to write this thing, but, this is a 700-page brick. God forbid you drop this thing on your foot. And this is only the first volume. Yeah, this only takes us through his first term. The first couple hundred pages or so, we get a background on his childhood, his college days, meeting Michelle, starting a family. But then once he becomes president, we get the inside scoop on the Recovery Act, the bank bailouts, the Affordable Care Act, appointing Sotomayor, being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He even talks about his thoughts on Michelle's work with childhood obesity. Because, if you want to sell some books, just talk about Michelle.
The Honorable Barack H. Obama and Mrs. Michelle Obama.
Yes! Look at Michelle, child! Yes, honey! Yes, honey! Yes!
First and foremost, I loved Obama's tone throughout the entire book, especially considering what we just went through with the last 4 years of craziness from the White House. I was so hungry for something just more calm and collected. And this book delivered in that sense. Obama's writing is so reserved and polite, even when he's talking about people that he disagrees with. He sticks to the policy and refrains from attacking their character. And he usually always has something nice to say about them, which I found inspiring. His level of empathy for others shines through so strong. Almost every person we meet, we learn where they're from, what they're passionate about, their schooling, previous experience. We even learn about their parents. He really impresses upon the reader the importance of almost everybody he meets. And not only people, places. When he visits other countries, we learn what the people are like. What are their customs? We learn about the popular tourist destinations, what their economy's like. He almost comes across too empathetic. Sometimes these descriptions come at the cost of really slowing down the narrative, like to a crawl. But for the most part, I'm okay with this because it's just so refreshing to sit and read something with integrity, especially in a time where politicians and news anchors just seem so scandalous.
Like an obese turtle on his back flailing in the hot sun.
Often Joe Biden himself doesn't seem to know what he's saying.
You got to scream it, right?
Will you shut up, man? Listen, who is...
I was worried this book would be too biased, but I found this book to be pretty well balanced. Obama offered plenty of relevant counter-arguments to a lot of his decisions, and I felt like he managed to remain relatively balanced on most issues. Not on all issues, though. He wasn't really willing to entertain the other side's thoughts on healthcare or climate change. Now, let me address a couple things about this book that might help you if you're thinking about reading it. This isn't necessarily something you can just breeze through. Since this book is by a politician, it does get into the nitty-gritty of politics. Not so much that it's impossible to read, but enough to where, if you're not already familiar with politics, you should at least be interested. Also, the narrative sometimes takes a backseat for the sake of discussing policy. Each chapter is devoted to a few issues that are related over a short span of time, but not every issue in that span of time is discussed. So sometimes a later chapter will actually jump back to that time frame to talk about another issue that wasn't necessarily relevant the first time. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but just know that the book kind of jumps around in time for a few events. It's not a big deal, but you got to pay attention. If you're a fan of Obama or politics in general, I'd say read this. Even if you're a Republican or not a huge fan of Obama, I don't think this would bother you much. Like I said before, he takes into account a lot of the criticisms from the opposite party, and he even acknowledges how important some of those criticisms were for shaping his laws. If you're not a fan of politics at all, though, I'd say stay clear. It does get a little nitty-gritty in the politics, and if you aren't interested, you probably won't finish. Finally, I don't think I need to say this, but if you're a fan of Trump, you won't like this. There's a few stabs that he takes at Trump, even if not by name.
I think if we didn't do it properly and do it right, you'd have 2.5 million deaths. If you take a look at alternatives, you could have 2.5 million deaths or something thereabouts. You could have.
Thanks for watching, everyone. My name's Kenny, and I'm normally here every week to talk about movies. So if you're new here, check out some of my other videos. Until next time, thanks for letting me share.